this afternoon I'm going to pin some snowflakes. Previously, or if somebody wants to, you can actually draw out sort of the guidelines for pinning and then put a piece of parchment paper over it so it doesn't stick. And that's what I did for this snowflake here. Works well. Sometimes you get like, you can't really see it, but you might get a little bit of glue that dries outside of your snowflake that you can just rub off and it goes. Or you can just freehand it. That works especially well when you accidentally make a 7-pointed snowflake like this one instead of my 6. So I've made, let's see, looks like I've made 4 of them. So it'll go from something pretty ugly like this to being all nicely pinned out like this. It's sort of a nice, quiet, relaxing activity to do. So what you'll need to do first is to sew in any of your ends. You don't have to be too careful about it because we are going to be starching and stiffening them. Oh, looks like I made another 7-pointed one. I've been distracted making some of these, which is often the case. 1, 2, 3. This one's 6-pointed. So you're going to need a whole bunch of pins. I think it took 54 to do one last time. These are just straight pins from the dollar store. You'll need quite a few if you're doing a snowflake. And I just have standard clear glue that I have mixed in a container with a few drops of water just to sort of loosen it up. The more glue you have, the stiffer it'll be. If you want to be more flexible, then add a little bit more water. So generally we start, I like to do mine face up, or right side up. And we just start by pinning it somewhere to get things started. Let's see here, I'll just adjust the camera a bit. So if you're like this snowflake up here and it has 7 points, you're going to have to figure out your orientation a bit. But with a 6-pointed one, which I assume this one is, I'm going to start by pinning the long ends. This is also the method I use if I'm blocking things like doilies too, or steam blocking, whatever I'm making. I like to use this massively oversized corkboard I have. Used to have a world map on it. Now, because I am using washable glue as my stiffener, if for some reason I don't like how something's turned out even after the glue has dried, I can steam it or soak it and make some changes. Also works nicely if you're going to put these on a Christmas tree and they kind of get squished over the year when they're in storage. So I've got my main points done. Looks like they're a little crowded over here. So I'm wanting to have like a straight line from here to here, here, and here. This one's a bit off. And like I said at the beginning, you can certainly use something like this to keep your pinning straight. And just put parchment or wax paper over it so you're not gluing it on the paper. If anybody is new to doing thread crochet, snowflakes are a nice way to start. This one's only a couple of rounds or rows. My first one probably took, well, I was at my local yarn groups. My first one, I didn't get too far because I was talking while doing it. I kept losing my spot in the pattern. But by the time I finished my fourth one, I think they were taking about 40 minutes to crochet. Now over time, as you start to stretch it out, some of the things will relax a bit. So feel free to adjust your pins as necessary. Living in the capital of Canada, here in Ottawa, I've seen many snowflakes, and I can tell you, very few of them are perfect. And remember when pinning, depending on what materials you're using to stiffen, some people also use sugar water. It's somewhat reversible. So don't stress it with it too much. Now on the tips I'm going right through the thread, but on these ones, since it's a chain space, I'm just sort of stretching it out. I will say doilies don't tend to have as much of these little points that have to get blocked. If you look on my channel, I think I have a few videos of some doilies that I've made. All right, I'll take a look, see if there's any small adjustments. Here, I don't like how it's only in one thread. So I'm going to stretch it in a weird way. This one, I think, will touch. Oh, it's looking pretty good. This is my jar. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio. I use that for doilies. This is mostly glue with a few drops of water. And it's just clear, generic glue. I wonder what's looking like in Ottawa today. It is very, very snowy. Doesn't pick up very well. Having a little bit of a snow squall at the moment. There are lots of great free crochet snowflake patterns online. This one is from a Leisure Arts book I can grab in a couple of minutes there. You can get snowflakes in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, different levels of complexity. This one pretty basic, mostly just chain stitches and slip stitches. A couple of single crochet and double crochet stitches. You can see that as the glue sort of soaks into the thread, it changes a bit of color. Not sure if the video is picking that up or not. But just glop it on. It's just a standard soft bristled brush. No fancy tools required. And yes, I'm getting some glue on the corkboard. The thread will soak most of it up, but the other stuff will stick into the board, and that's fine. It's not going to actually stick the snowflake into the board. Just peel off later. You want to make sure any of these little thin spots are particularly well glued, so they don't have a lot of structural support keeping their shape. And usually this will take overnight to a day to dry. I just take my giant cork board and place it up against the wall. I'm just checking for any little dry spots here and there. All right, so this one's looking pretty good. We kind of started it with something jumbled that looked like this. We pin it out and glue it. I did this one earlier today. It was accidentally 7 pointed instead of 6. But then when I went to start this one, turns out this one's going to be 7 pointed too. But crochet and pinning are actually quite forgiving. I might not have enough pins to finish this one, but we'll give it a start. And just before I start, I will grab the book in case anyone's interested to see where this pattern came from. It's a book I've had for a couple of years because crochet comes with many hobbies: collecting yarn, making things, and collecting patterns. So this is by Leisure Arts. And in particular, this is Snowflake number 22. It's a really nice little book. Has lots of great looking snowflakes that aren't super hard. They're definitely not expert level. I've seen much harder ones. Even has some nice 3D ones. Might have to try this tree topper one. Looks like it's multiple ones put together. Not sure how they do that, so it'll be a good learning opportunity. Now I've got some of the cork coming off my board here. I'm not going to pin it onto there because I don't want any little bits to glue on. So we stick a pin somewhere in the middle. As I said before, this was an accidental 7 pointed one, but it'll still block out in pin fine. This might take a few adjustments to get everything lined up. So if you do the snowflakes or blocking doilies, you just kind of get it started, get some things spread out, usually with your taller or bigger spots, and then adjust it later. Well, let's see. Looks like they're a little crowded up at this end. Adjust everything down a bit. Now I am applying a bit of tension, but not too much. When you put the pins in, usually kind of angle a bit. Looking pretty good here. Until here, I'm not going to have enough straight pins to finish doing this one. But we'll do what we can so that once one of these other one dry, it won't take us long to get it set up. Well, that's it for my straight pins. So I'll probably have about another third more pins to put in here later. Now, if you've mixed up some water and glue, no reason to throw it out. It'll actually store really well for long periods of time. I keep it in this glass jar with the label. And I'll just check to see how thick it is next time I use it. Maybe add a bit of water. And in the end, you'll end up with this nice snowflake. It's got a little bend to it. For the most part, it's pretty nicely done. I can put this on a Christmas tree. Sometimes I'll add them to Christmas gifts on the outside as sort of a decoration. Could put them on a wreath for outside. Or another option would be to even make a garland out of them. Like I said, after a while, if they start to lose their shape a bit, you can just steam them or soak them in some water and just reblock it. And this brush I'm just going to clean off with some water and soap. But you can definitely use a smaller hook or a larger hook. It's not going to matter too much. Really, a lot of the final shape comes down to how you pin it at the end. And these will probably take a day or so to dry. Of course, I need my table space back for my other crochet project. So we'll just take this corkboard, lean it up against the wall. You're going to start, like you're going to slowly snowflakes along curve. I would recommend you putting them in between some pieces of cardboard, or just lay them flat. They actually hold up pretty well here for me. I'm definitely not too technical with my crochet. I'm not sure if my microphone picks it up. I'm just washing off my brush with a little bit of soap, Dawn dish soap and water. Let it to dry. Later today I'll be having, well, by tomorrow I'll put on a little YouTube short showing the snowflakes. I hope everybody has a great day. That's about it for me today. off and work on some Tunisian crochet, a shirt that I've started also in a nice small thread.